a good day.
I'll soon be
It's going to be a good year.
if I can find my wings.
Get on in here.
Find my wings. Impatiently, I want to fly.
I want it right now. Give it to me now.
But
Isn't that what we always
think?
think?
Gentle voice inside me say that slow and steady steps will be my pace. Slow and steady steps will win this race. It will take some time, but the victory will be mine. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to fly. I'm starting to believe I only race with me. Only me.
Hey, Robert.
I can't
Tammy,
give to
Judith.
someone else.
Get on in here, everybody.
Journey
Doris,
for myself.
Herbert, and Sarah.
It's for
Jerry, come on in.
myself.
Angie,
Since my
Rachel.
best is all I have, it is enough.
There's Pam and Jackie and Peggy.
I can
Come
see
on
a
in.
ray of hope. I've got to trust that slow and steady steps will be my pace. Slow and steady steps will win this race. It will take some time, but the victory will be mine. Slow and steady, I'm gonna learn to fly.
Okay, I got lots to tell you. I've been movie watching today. It's been my day to fill my heart with good stuff. And I have this Roku app called Pure Flix, Pureflix. And if you don't have Pure Flix, you should get it because there's a lot of wholesome movies on there. And I'm watching one. I'm in the middle of it. I got another 30 minutes to go. That is about a lumber baron. A lumber baron. And I used to work in a sawmill. So it got me to thinking about working in a sawmill, and sawmills go a long way back in my family. My mother's father and all of his brothers had a sawmill. They had a big old sawmill, and they would make furniture. They were probably some of the original. Take the product and turn it into. They turned it into all the door facings and things in their houses were made out of this wonderful oak. And Patty and I used to play in the sawmill. Yeah, we would play in the sawmill and dig in the sawdust. And I remember the sawmill just like it was yesterday. And I was probably 6. So anyway, this is about a lumber baron, and they have a bunch of timber, lots of timber. And it's just a good story. It's called Lumber Baron is the name of it. So folks, if you've got Netflix, if you don't have Netflix, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have with good wholesome movies. You don't have to look. Every one of them is a good choice. And then I got to thinking about when I first moved to North Carolina, I took a forestry class. And I learned how to spell trees, and I learned a lot about trees because I live in the cradle of forestry for this country. This is where forestry started. And I was in a meeting one time, and the forest manager, the head of the Pisgah National Forest, it's a national forest, yeah. And half of our county is a national forest. And the head of the forest was speaking, and he told a story. And I got to see this happen watching this movie. He told a story about this young man who joined a timber crew, lumberjacks. Remember the Paul Bunyan stuff? Lumberjacks. So he joined a lumberjack crew, and first day he cut 8 trees, 8 huge trees, and he loved it. And then the next day, and he was worn out, just tired as he could be. And the next day he cut 6 trees. He couldn't figure out why he couldn't keep up with what he did the day before. And the next day he went out early. Third day he went out early, skipped breakfast, got out there and only cut 5 trees. And finally he asked the foreman, "What am I doing wrong?" He said, "I keep going downhill." So he stayed late after he didn't go to dinner, and he's just worn out. Have you seen days that you've just push, and not got anything done? Well, finally the foreman told him, "Son, when you take a break, you bring out your file and you sharpen your axe. You got to sharpen your axe. You got to sharpen your axe. Every time you sit down, you while you're resting, you can still do something with your hands." Remember watching Little House on the Prairie when Ma Ingle took a break? She was mending clothes. You see? You can do it if you want to. You can get things done while you're sitting. And let me tell you something you can do while you're taking a break. Well, first you got to do one thing though. I had a friend this morning who was they're like most of us. They don't have a whole lot of money right now. Every dime is taken for rent and food and utility bills, and they're just kind of don't know how they're going to make it. And she was worrying. Well, first off, I said, "Don't worry. Worry won't get you anywhere. And you need to repent for having lack of faith in God." And I said, "I have an assignment for you." And I told her, I said, "Go into your kitchen and your pantry, and I want you to make an inventory of the food you have on hand." "Well, do you want me to make meal plans?" And I said, "Not yet. I want you to show me the inventory first." She put out this 1-page great inventory. She had a lot of meats and vegetables and stuff to feed her little family. And I said, "Just looking at this, I think you've got about 14 meals that you can make out of this." And she said, "Oh, no." And I said, "Start planning your menus." And sure enough, she came up with 13 or 14 meals that she could make with what she had on hand. All she would, and with just adding a few things like some tortillas and some cheese and some dried beans, she could expand it even more. So folks, if you start feeling down, repent for your lack of faith, and then go take inventory of your food, what you have on hand in your pantry, in your freezer, in your refrigerator that needs to be cooked. And that got me to thinking I had some frozen potato stuff, and I've put it in my crock pot, and I had some leftover country fried potatoes with bacon that were so good. And I've chopped up all of that, and I've put it in my crock pot, and we're going to have potato soup and cornbread for dinner. Yep, potato soup and cornbread fritters. And I'm excited. So when you look at what you have and be thankful for what you have, then there's no room for being sad and worry. Worry, I used to tell my granny. My granny, she was one of these. She would just twiddle her thumbs and rub her hands together, and she would rock. She would rock in her rocking chair. And I said, Granny, worry is like sitting in your rocking chair trying to get to the beauty shop. That's what worry is. You sit there and study about it, and you never get anything done. You got to take actions. And those actions are getting out your calendar. Yeah, this calendar is big enough to put your menu plans on. Taking inventory of the food you have on hand, and then utilizing it in a menu plan and putting it on your calendar so that you know what's for dinner every day for the next 2 weeks. Go shopping in your pantry instead of having to run to the grocery store. You know, every time you run to the grocery store for one item, you end up spending $25 or $30 more than you thought you had. So let's shop in our freezers this week. Now, we're kicking off tomorrow. We're getting back to basics in our email messages. We've kind of been doing it all month, going back to basics, but I've been working hard getting things set up. I want you to, tomorrow morning, tonight, pick out your clothes for tomorrow. And tomorrow morning, I want you to get up and I want you to get dressed to lace up shoes first thing. And then get something going in your crock pot. Costco syndrome. No, I don't go to Costco. I don't go to the grocery store. And if you are one of these people that goes shopping and you end up with $100 more spent than what you really had, send your husband, because they go to the grocery store with a list and they stick right to the list. So with a little supplementation on her grocery list, she needed milk, some cheese. Listen to this: milk, cheese, a bag of pinto beans. A bag of pinto beans. A 2-pound bag of pinto beans. Bam. And she had a ham bone in her freezer, and that made me thinking, oh my. With just a little of nothing, probably $15, she could supplement her budget. She adds some onions to it and a bag of potatoes, and it's spread even more. So folks, take inventory. You shop out of your freezer and your pantry this week. Plan your menus. It's going to change. Oh my goodness. Hope has such a good idea. She says, I put my clothes on hangers, and I have one for each day of the week. You can punch a hole in a note card and write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 days a week. You can, and put all your clothes on one hanger, and your outfit's already picked out. How cool is that? Well, y'all, take some time today to take your inventory, sit down and plan your menus, and you're going to be blown away how much peace comes from knowing you've got this food in the house. Now, if the cupboards are bare, that's a different story. You may need to look for some food pantries or call somebody and let them know you need something. It's okay to say, I need help. It really is. Okay, y'all, my battery's getting low. I will see you later. Tomorrow morning, we're going to bless our homes. Get up and get dressed to lace up shoes. I love you all. Bye.